Today we are going to discuss how artificial intelligence is being put to use through development of certain algorithms, and it also shows how personal data can be used for certain political campaigning. So one example that I am going to discuss is that of Cambridge Analytica. See here, Cambridge Analytica. Cambridge Analytica came from what was called SCL group before. It came from SCL group, that is related to strategic communications. This SCL group was working first in the areas of conflict management, like Afghanistan, Iraq, helping the military in strategic communication. Maybe proper name for it is propaganda. And later it started working on electioneering in different countries in Africa, Latin America, in Asia. There they would use variety of techniques to help a particular candidate win the election. So communication in conflict management and later communication in electioneering. And gaining confidence in these two things, particularly in helping candidates win elections in many countries, it tried the technology at the time of Brexit, and then later Trump election. And we are going to discuss the last step, 2016. So this gives an example of how data can be used and how people can be persuaded to do things which are the things that they may not otherwise do. The strategy of Cambridge Analytica works something like this. There are so many people. Okay, voters run into millions. CA, that is Cambridge Analytica, need not bother about all of them. That is the first point. Because some voters are clearly convinced on which side they will vote. But there will be few undecided. undecided. And this undecided, some of them may be persuadable. Persuadable. These are the new words they created. They can be persuaded. And in American election, the persuadable in certain swing states play a very important role to electoral outcome. It is finally around 70,000 voters who decided in favor of Trump and made him president. So outcomes may depend upon certain crucial voters. So first thing is to identify them. Identify them. And then persuade them. How do you persuade them is an issue. First, how do you identify, and next, how do you persuade is an issue. Imagine you have only one voter. How will you persuade one voter? Undecided. How will you persuade? So you want to know more about him. What kind of person he is? What are his likes, dislikes? Who are his friends, opinions? What kind of TV shows he watches, books he reads? The comments he makes, conversations, his heroes. Okay. So what kind of a person he is? What kind of a person he is? So if you know his psychological profile, and if there are experts who try to talk to him in the areas he may be interested, and if he is previously undecided, then he may vote for a particular candidate, in this case Trump. Okay. If this voter is a woman, then how will she look at Hillary Clinton is an issue. If she wants woman empowerment, more likely to support Hillary Clinton. So how can she be persuaded? Hillary Clinton, for example, forgave her husband's affair. So, did this woman not like this? Then let us talk about it. How can a woman who wants to be president of America live with such a husband? Let her think. She is not tough enough. She can't be a leader. Okay. Or a woman with traditional values. She may be made to think, see, she is a woman, Clinton is a woman, Hillary Clinton is a woman who doesn't know how to manage her own husband, doesn't know how to run a home. And how can she be president? In fact, Obama's wife said, how can a woman who can't manage her own house can manage White House? So post that video to her. Okay. But otherwise, if a man is somebody who lost a job recently, then explain how people are losing jobs and how outsiders are taking jobs and how Trump looks at this issue differently. Okay. You are an immigrant. So what are the issues like this? So what they do is, how do you create a digital equivalent of this? Digital equivalent of this is to know the psychological profile of this voter. Psychological profile. Psychological profile is not the same thing as demographic profile. Demographic profile is a smaller aspect. Psychological profile is much big. It includes likes, dislikes, videos watched, comments made. Okay. So, from psychological profile, try to understand this person and let different people talk, not one person. So how do you create a digital equivalent of this is the issue. If this person's issue is immigration, immigration specialist will talk. If it's a feminist, feminist will talk. If blacks, black person will talk. It is like that. Okay. So the way they do it is identify the issues and make him read the issues, watch videos, listen to them. Finally, to make him think, okay, Trump is a better candidate, and use hate, fear, concerns. Okay. And Cambridge Analytica did not believe that the voter should know truth. It is not necessary. What matters is, if it is not truth, then you create fake news on the basis of fear. Create fake news. Okay. Let them read. As long as they believe, that is news. As long as it makes them think in a particular way, that is news. It doesn't have to be true. So, a voter is driven in search of a particular information. Okay. The person who developed This algorithm is a data scientist by name Christopher Wiley. It is he who finally became a whistleblower and explained what all happened. There was one more whistleblower. Her name was Brittany Kaiser. These two are whistleblowers. What Wiley said was, we create a content, we do the profiling, we create a content, and finally voter is made to move from one website to another or a blog to blog, which are created as part of the campaign. It is like taking him to a rabbit hole. Okay. So this is not like public platform. In a public platform, people propose ideas. Those ideas are heard not only by the group you are addressing, trying to win, but also by the other group. So your ideas which are favorable to one group may be challenged by the other group. So in a public platform, it is difficult to be responsible. Whereas in this, there is no public platform, though social media is used. It is simply a person is whispered certain things, driven to a particular direction. So this is called audience segmentation. This audience segmentation enables whispering extremely specific data or even fake news. Unchecked. Okay. So this is how people are convinced. Okay. Now, what is the technology behind this? Cambridge Analytica developed an app. The app was developed by Cambridge professor Alexander Kogan. Spelling is different. Alexander Kogan in 2013. What this app did is, it says you get your psychological profile with one click, and if a Facebook user clicks this app, then not only the app gets not only the data of the one who downloaded the app, but all his friends. So such apps now are not possible, but when it was developed, it was possible. So Kogan developed this and gave it to Cambridge Analytica. 2.7 lakhs downloaded the apps, but the app got the data of 87 millions. What is the data? The data about timelines, likes, videos watched, birth, date, location. Imagine what all the things that we share in a Facebook. So many things. So here I want you to understand one very important thing. The so-called private data. Traditionally, we maintain secrets from the people nearby. Okay. So we have certain things that we don't share with our friends. We don't share with our family members. Okay. So we keep certain secrets. Okay, we do many things. That is going on even now. But the different thing is that you don't share with the people nearby now, but you are sharing with the software, with the Facebook. Now you see what Facebook knows. Facebook knows much more than what your closest people know. Isn't it so? It means, in a very strange way, we are making our system, we are making our information public. Making the data public is a way of keeping secrecy now. It's a very strange thing. Isn't it so? We tell so many things to the system. We don't share with the people nearby, without seeing that sharing with the system is in fact making them public. So what is this private data? It is nothing but the secrets of the person thrown into a public well, which can be read by company, Facebook. So what we are not sharing with so many people, we are sharing with Facebook. Facebook, Google combined and many other things combined. It really means that the data in the social media about us is much more than what the people around us know, and in certain ways more than what we ourselves know, because we forget and the system doesn't forget. So this is how technology meant sharing everything in the public domain or giving everything to certain private companies. Okay. Earlier secrecy meant keeping it to ourselves. Now secrecy meant giving it to outside. Okay. So CA now has so much data of millions. Okay. This is the data. Next question is, what do you do with the data? This data, Christopher Wiley says, becomes the basis for the development of algorithm. Please, this is very important. This is where data science comes. You only have millions of Facebook data. But how do you put it into a logical structure? Categorization, classification. Okay. So this is scientist's work. This is human work. I want you to pay attention to the sequence. It is not data in itself. data categorized in a particular way is algorithm. And that particular categorization is a human activity. And then with algorithm, you classify, develop the profile, and then segmentation. Algorithm is developed by human reasoning regarding which variables are important in campaigning. And then to this segment, what videos you should send, to what blogs they should be directed, like this. Like this. It is here behavioral scientists, psychiatrists, many experts are involved. And many content creators, photographers, artists are involved. Okay. So it is creating a situation of voter being handled by many experts. And then it's like this. So I want you to notice that it is not data by itself. Data is classified, categorized, segmented, content decided, fake news created, fear generated, and persuaded. It's all done by humans, not by computers. So what computer is doing is, instead of 10 people talking to one person, 10 people are talking to all simultaneously. Which 10 may vary. It is that thing. It is simply a human situation multiplied. But remember, it is a human situation. I am emphasizing this because it is not that the computers are changing people somehow. It is not like that. It is humans. Okay. So, this is how people are attempted to be persuaded. And finally, Trump campaign is successful. To what extent this organization played a role may be difficult to say, but definitely it must have played a role. And it played a similar role in Brexit campaign also. Okay. But what is wrong in this? Wrong in this is that they didn't know that their data was being used for this purpose. And fake news is systematically created. And people made use of fear to make them vote in a particular way. So this is manipulation. More importantly, data was taken without consent. Okay, so this raised the issues. But most people said that this is a distortion of democracy, and fake news, fear, hate are the things which shouldn't play a role. And the use of algorithms for this purpose is a threat to democracy. Okay, and this should not happen like this. Okay, they're not wrong, but we will look into this after a few minutes. So how do you look at this issue? See, creation of fake news is bad. Use of fear, hatred is bad. Using personal data without consent is bad. This should be stopped. That's true. But then some people are arguing that because of AI, democracy is under threat, liberalism is under threat, truth itself is under threat, free will is under threat. Okay, AI and algorithms are threatening these essential concepts. Harari comes under this school. So how do we look at that? I think this is a complete misreading of the situation. First of all, what has Cambridge Analytica done is not at all new. This is the first thing. Audience segmentation was happening in India, caste-wise division, religion-wise division, rioting, whispering into particular segments, hatred. They have been there before. Okay. Use of money in politics, there before. Take for example fake news. Okay, fake news. People now consider what comes under WhatsApp, maybe a fake news, Facebook, fake news. But I want to ask, what is a textbook? Does textbook contain truth? How is history written? Extremely selective, hate generating. Our nation is great. Somebody else is a villain. That is not hate generation. That is not segmentation. Isn't it? How about religious textbook? Rig Veda, Bible. What are they doing? Are they not segmenting population, saying that only they contain the truth and others are wrong? Is that not fear, hatred, segmentation? So, what is truth and what is fake news? Essentially, what we are recognizing as a fake news, I want you to understand, is something recently created. You can even investigate the origins. And false. When it comes to a textbook, it is not recently created, but manipulated as much. Indian history textbook is so different from Pakistani history textbook. Okay. So, people who criticize artificial intelligence or Cambridge Analytica sometimes are saying or think that our beliefs are right, we would have voted rightly, and now you are distorting. It is not like that. It is not that they were pure and truthful before and now there is distortion. What is regarded as pure is result of distortion that took place over many decades and sometimes centuries. So, what man should do is, if this news is persuading us and vote in a particular way, if we have changed our thoughts because of this, what does it mean to the previous thoughts, beliefs and opinions? Were they formed through equally false ways? That is what an intelligent man should question. So what Cambridge Analytica showed is that how hate can be generated, hatred can be generated, fear can be generated, and people can be persuaded to vote. So they have developed a technology of influencing. So which normally a politician, an experienced politician has as a result of certain instinct or experience, wisdom. Some people with a technological background and some understanding of psychology are in a position to recreate without taking much time. So what AI is doing is that it is exposing the falsehood of the past. It is not that it is creating something new, it is exposing the past. That's how AI should be seen. So AI is not a new source of fake news, new source of misleading, threatening democracy, threatening liberalism, threatening free will. Free will is supposed to be under threat because this shows you can be persuaded under certain information systems, so you don't have free will. As if that is the criteria, we had free will before. So what was going on over a long period of time was simply replicated or simulated with the help of technology with less time. So what Cambridge Analytica has shown is the thing that has been going on all through the centuries. Conditioning man on the basis of fear, hatred, groupism, not providing universal truth. So AI should expose human conditioning. It is not a threat to liberalism, threat to democracy, threat to free will, but in fact a force to reform the institutions, a boon to democracy. And when everybody is throwing the private data into the well, common well, that common well becomes an important source to investigate collective unconscious of the society. Publicly, some will say death to rapist, but privately, let us see their sexual fantasies. They're so different. So let AI investigate from that private data what people really are. If AI is used to explore the collective unconscious of a society and a nation, it is true, Homo Deus would be created out of Homo sapiens. So, AI or algorithm, they do not give new threats. They are exposing the hypocrisy of the old. And that is how it should be seen. And also see that these people were doing similar things in conflict situation and in countries in America, in Latin America and Asia and Africa. But when they try to do similar thing in advanced countries, they are caught. So, more advanced a society is, it will be less vulnerable for propaganda. Less vulnerable. But we are not saying it will be free or it was free before. So, Cambridge Analytica, and of course that is not there anymore, but many will be like that with a new name. They don't represent a new threat. I mean, entirely, it's not an entirely new threat. They just reflect the old one. They are mirroring, they are offering a mirror to what was going on, and that's how we should see and improve on the existing arrangements. Thank you.